Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Non-League Heroes podcast, episode number 20, with your hosts, as always, Dan Walkley and Dan Welch. Good evening, Dan.
Hello, mate. Number 20.
It's mad, isn't it? It's a good little milestone.
Yeah, it's all right. Going well, building it up slowly. So yeah, it's been a good 20 weeks now. It's blown by, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's going really well. And I think I remember I think it was Felix in the group when I announced that we was going to do this. He was like, make sure it lasts longer than the other podcast I was. But that had nothing to do with me, really. I was just a host. But this is something that me and you have come up with, and I'm pretty sure we've got so much love for the non-league scene. This ain't going to be going anywhere. And I think episode 20, absolutely brilliant to reach the milestone. What have you been up to?
Well, I've actually been away for the weekend, so I've been playing a bit of catch up on the football over the weekend, to be honest. I was away in Cornwall, so I've just come back. I think about a 6-hour drive this morning and this afternoon, so I'm lagging a bit, I must admit. But we'll see how it goes. But what I will say is those teams down in Cornwall, the Mousels, Helstons, Falmouth, their travel each week in step 4 is an absolute joke. Like 6 hours, like they've got Thatcher in the league, all three of them. In the Southern South Div 1, I think. That's a 6-hour drive for a game of football. I think Mousel were near the top as well. I mean, that is like the arse end of Cornwall. So, yeah, fair play to all of them, because that to do that each week. I actually think that's harder to do than the Channel Islands. At least the Channel Island teams have got 40-minute flight, and you're up and down. But that journey, rough.
Yeah, I couldn't be doing that every week. I was meant to be going to Devon in a couple of weeks, but it was only for like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and it's just not worth. It's just not worth it.
Long way. Yeah, but there's some beautiful grounds down there. Beautiful grounds. So if anyone is down that way, I think it's the Peninsula League, the Step 6 League, the East and West. Yeah, go and visit some grounds down there, because there's some stunning venues.
Yeah, I bet.
How's your week been?
Yeah, you've been away, and I've been away. Obviously, I went here last week. I sat in my caravan ready for it, and I couldn't even receive a WhatsApp message. I was literally in the middle of nowhere in a caravan site down in Norfolk. So yeah, I couldn't be here last week, unfortunately. But listened back to the episode, and Dino stepped in on my behalf, done an excellent job, as he always does.
Brilliant. Yeah, it was good episode, actually. I enjoyed the conversations with Tyler, obviously what he's been through, and Ennio as well with his Whiteleaf side.
Yeah.
Well, after results of the weekend, banging for a shout of champions now in Combined County South and the FA Vars final as well.
Yeah, no, we've said it numerous times. That league is something else. I could literally swing any way possible. But just a quick one on Burko. Obviously, I went here last week. We had a draw against fucking Kidlington, and
bottom of the league, weren't they?
Second bottom, yeah. And then we played Northley on Saturday, who were relegated bottom, and a bit better. It was a 4-0 win. We just need 1 point now to secure second place and have the home advantage in the playoffs. And on that note, just a quick congratulations to Peter McCormack, Real Bedford, Rob Sinclair, Seb Hendricks for winning the title. I think on the basis of the season, probably the best team, the most consistent. Well, you're always going to be the most consistent if you win the league anyway, but I think they are. They probably were the best team in the league and thoroughly deserved winners.
Is that 3 from 3 now for them?
3 from 3, yes, since he took over in step 6. Oh, Ollie Balletta's on the screen. Quickly. So I'm just watching one of my boys on the Non-League Heroes WhatsApp group. He's on TV now, but I can't listen to it. I'll watch it back. But yeah, no, it's 3 from 3. So he took over in step 6, Spartan Div 1, and he's won it all. He's literally won it all. So he's put his money where his mouth is, and it's shown. And now Real Bedford will be a step 3 club next season. And obviously with the merge with Bedford Town, a good chance a very good chance that I think what it is now. I think Bedford Town will fold, and Real Bedford will become the only one club in Step 3, which will give a reprieve. Which will give a reprieve to the team who finishes fourth and bottom in the National League North, which is Needham Market. I've done a little bit of research. So the only teams getting a reprieve will be probably Needham Market of the National League North, who will, because Bedford Town, if they win the league, they won't go up anyway, obviously because of the merge. So yeah, that's that.
That is only your thoughts, though, right? That's not confirmed.
Well, trust me, I've got my fingers in all sorts of pies, mate, and I can pretty much guarantee that now. So the news will come out soon anyway. But
yeah, our week at Tadley has been a bit of a mixed one. Obviously, we could have caught Fleet in the playoffs with them dropping points, but we've actually lost the last 2 league games. So that's the playoffs done in the Combined County South. Well, I say the playoffs done. Red Hill, Jersey and Whiteleaf still scrapping for that one automatic spot. We'll touch on that shortly. But we got our first, or made it into our first cup final in a decade as well. First senior cup final in a decade last Tuesday. We played Westfield and took them to penalties and beat them on penalties. So yeah, we'll now play Hartley Whitney in the Aldershot Senior Cup final on May the 6th. So yeah, huge achievement, and well done to the lads for that.
Yeah, fantastic achievement. Can't beat a cup final.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
And yes, talking about finals, I think with Burko, we get a point on Friday. We'll definitely finish second, and we will, obviously, if we win our semi-final, we will play the final at home. So
yeah, that second place is huge in the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
home advantage.
I think Burko finished second 3 years ago, and they were meant to play Welling Garden City, who finished 5th, I think. But Welling didn't have the ground grade to go up, so they put in North Lee, and North Lee beat them. Been in the playoffs, and then, but yes. So although it's a one-off game, home advantage, there's still a lot of work to do. And looking at that playoffs, just quickly on it, I think there's 4 teams. Got Flackwell, Barton, Hadley, and Tame all fighting it out between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I mean, obviously nothing for 6th place, but yeah, literally, we might know our opponents for probably the last game of the season.
Yeah, but Flackwell signed here a bit of form now, aren't they? In the league, they picked up some big results, but their Berks and Bucks Cup final against Bracknell, obviously they went 1-0 up in that, got beat 3-1 on the night, but found out over the weekend that Bracknell have played an ineligible player in the form of, we think, a cup tie, because he also played for Binfield as well, actually against Flackwell in the quarterfinal. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of that. I mean, the game's done, the cup's done, they pay for the venues being paid for. I don't know. What do you think the FA will do, or Berks and Bucks FA? I mean, it clearly states in the rule book. Are they going to replay it? Are they going to give it to Flackwell with a massive asterisk next to their name, or what?
Yeah, well, if it's any other round other than the final, it's always a replay, isn't it?
Yeah. No, the other team will progress.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't think that's what it's like around our way.
It states in the competition rules that if you're found to have played an ineligible player, your opponents would move on to the next round.
Right, so obviously, as it's the final, yeah, well, based on that, then they should award Flackwell. But is that?
But you want to win it that way? You don't, do you?
No, you win. And obviously, if you replay it and lose again, you just look like idiots, really, didn't you? Because if it's Flackwell that have played up with the eligible player, or it's just come to light randomly. If Flackwell kicked off and they get the replay and lose again, you just
it's a hard one. For me, if I was Flackwell, I know some of the players have been quite vocal about it, but for me, it'll be done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. All the hype expectation for it won't come back again.
Yeah.
It'll be a game, and it'll probably be a worse game than.
It probably would.
No one's going to go and watch it again.
No, exactly. No. Well, there's a big debate about the cup final anyway being played at Didcot, and they moved it to Slough, so it's been a bit of a shambles that cup final. But there we go. You're speaking about Real Bedford being champions. We also had Cleethorpes, who were crowned champions over the weekend. Merthyr Town in the Southern Premier South. Yeah, too many names. At half time, it looked like they were going to be about 9 points ahead going into this weekend, but they're actually now 4 points clear. Tottenham came back to win in the second half, and Merthyr actually lost at home to Poole. So that title race is going down to the wire.
Yeah.
And along with the combined County South, which we've touched on quite a lot on social media, with Red Hill and Jersey drawing last week, Jersey actually went ahead this week in the reverse fixtures. We knew they were back-to-back. But Red Hill come back on 1-2-1. So Red Hill are now top. Jersey and Whiteley have got games in hand who both play tomorrow night. So it could all go down to the final day, which is going to be very, very exciting.
Yeah, I just had a quick glimpse of the leagues. Well, but as we've both been away, I haven't really seen nothing over the weekend, just from what I see in the group. So I was well aware of the game on Saturday between them. Obviously, you've got the media team in the group, but yeah, that's mad. I think Red Hill now. I mean, I know it's a +3 with less goal difference. So obviously, if Whiteleaf. Is it Whiteleaf and I think Jersey win all their games, they should still win the league, right?
Yeah, Jersey win tomorrow night or Tuesday night away at Abbey Rangers and then win at home to Sandhurst. They'll win the league. Whiteleaf are away at Hawley on Tuesday night. And then they are away at Fleet on Saturday in the final game of the season. That will take them on 95 points with 2 wins. Red Hill can get 96 points. So Jersey, bloody hell, sorry. Jersey could actually win the league on goal difference on Saturday, which would be nuts.
Yeah, it's very, very, very competitive, that league. It's one that's really taken me by surprise. I mean, I didn't really know too much about it till I started chatting to you and some of the people in the group, but that's bloody mad going down to the wire, that is.
It is, and 3 teams as well going down to the wire, because that playoff spot as well, Jersey and Whiteleaf, like we said about Burko, getting the second spot, they're both going to want that. Jersey, especially with that home advantage for people going over to the island and their support. So that's absolutely massive for them. But at the bottom as well, any of Sandhurst, Chipstead and Balham can all go down on Saturday. So yeah, tight relegation battle as well there.
Yeah, certainly. Just quickly, AFC Welling, big fans of our podcast. What a fantastic win they had Saturday.
Bloody hell.
It was a straight title shootout near enough against Desborough Town. And they found themselves 5-0 up inside 24 minutes.
Yeah, silly. Absolutely
ridiculous. And then to come out the blocks and put 5 past him in opening 25 minutes is an absolutely incredible win.
That's how emphatic as it gets, isn't it?
Yeah, so hopefully now they've got 2 games left. 2 wins will seal them back-to-back promotions. Similar to what Real Bedford have done, to be honest. T took over a club or formed the club. First season won step 7, and then second season looks like they're going to win step 6. So, yeah, congratulations to everyone at AFC Welling. I really hope they go over now and get the job done. They got Ruston and Higham tomorrow away in Northampton somewhere. Long old journey, but it was a 10-1 win when they played them last time. So I can't see any stumbling blocks there. But you never know this end of the season, do you?
No, absolutely. And your team in that league, London Coney, potentially looking like a reprieve, and now they're second bottom.
Well, listen,
could stay up. Depends who comes up in step 7.
I've said it enough times. They finished bottom every year now since 1936, and they seem to stay.
They need to go.
Yeah, fuck them. They need to go now. They're doing my head. I don't even know what's going on. They're not even playing at their ground anymore. Yeah. That's a farmyard. Yeah, enough slander at them anyway. I was in a good mood till you just mentioned them.
Well, let me bring you back up because there's been a lot going on around the leagues as well. So we spoke last week, or myself and Dean spoke last week about the relegation battle in the National League. Boston, Woking, and Maidenhead all won again at the weekend, and Wealdstone actually drew away at Barnet. So the teams down the bottom there, it's getting really, really tight, and they're all picking up wins. Maidenhead going away to Halifax and nicking 2-0 is fantastic. And obviously Wealdstone drawing with Barnet, what probably they describe as maybe a local derby. That'll be interesting. I think Boston are going to pull themselves out of it now. They've been on a great run of form. In the National League North, Scunthorpe lead the way after the weekend. So they're, as a club, they're way too big to be about step 2 on. It's ridiculous. National League South. So Truro won 3-1 at the weekend with a 16-minute second half hat trick by Jays Kabler to put them top on goal difference, because Worthing also won 4-1. Dorking obviously still in that playoff semi-final hunt for the top, or second and third place, isn't it?
Yeah.
They conceded a very, very late goal, but also there's been a lot on social media around that controversy of the red card.
Yeah.
So, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I've watched it back this morning twice. I'm not a big fan of referees, as people can tell. But I'll tell you what, it's people like them fucking 3 idiots on Saturday is why we hate this fucking game. That could cost them promotion to the National League Premier Division. It's an absolute shit show from start to finish. And like a bunch of amateurs who do a fantastic job. And for them to have it like that, it just shows how fucking corrupt and useless that some of these fucking people are. And the future of our game being officiated by these, they're all young, mate. And it's just an absolute fucking farce. And to be doing it at that level of the pyramid in non-league and in that big stake of the league title, it's absolutely, it's disgusting. And like they had a chance to even sort it out. The fourth official standing there like a fish finger in the middle, like he ain't got a fucking clue what day of the week it was. They were an absolute waste of space. All of them. They got it completely wrong. The throw-ins down by the corner flag for starters.
Yeah, so I just want to, just in case no one's seen it, just want to correct me if I'm wrong. So Dorking were awarded a throw-in down near the corner flag, which the linesman signalled for. Mm-hmm. Their players, was your defender's gone up, or their captain was it? Because has gone up to take the throw-in in that area of the pitch. The referee, once he's got there, the referee's then called him back towards the halfway line and overruled his linesman. And because obviously the tactics of the team, so I guess he's been booked, hasn't he, before protesting that in the first instance. So once he's pushed back, he then gives the ball to a teammate whose, I guess, job is to take throws in that area of the pitch. We know that's tactically what managers do. As he's passed the ball to his teammate, the referee's then shown him another yellow card and sent him off. That's right?
Yeah. So, yeah, basically, Mark White, you can hear Mark White saying, I don't want you on that throw. You're only on them. It's something like you only take throws down there so you can launch it into the box. But because the referee moved it back, he doesn't want his centre midfielder out there taking the throw on the halfway line. He wants his fullback to do it, which would normally is normal, isn't it? Like you wouldn't want the midfielder coming out that fucking far. Yeah, he's done it. So Mark White's completely said, listen, I don't want you taking that throw now, because obviously the referee had 2 minutes of talking to everyone. He's completely forgotten where the fucking throw was. So Mark White wanted his player to get back in, which was absolutely normal. If the referees took 5 minutes to have a conversation with them, why can't the player have an extra 5 seconds to take his throw or to change the throw? It was a tactical movement for the referee fucking up. And and then give him the second yellow card for his time wasting. And then they're going to see that they were sitting 2-1 up, pretty much looking good for a third or getting the 3 points at least. And in the space of, what knows, 3 people who think they're above the law pretty much, think they can run the game, and disgusting, mate. If I was them, I mean,
It's a poor decision. I get that. It's a poor decision.
You just getting that wrong at that level. Even you've got the linesman, you've got the referee, and you've got the fourth official. Between the three of them, they can't even get the right fucking decision.
Yeah, and I don't want to come on here and slander referees. I know they have a tough job. I mean, I was horrendous in the past as a player, so I don't want to carry that on. But I mean, like you said, at National League South level, at step 2, these referees aspire to be professional referees, and if they between 4 of them, if they can't recognise the situation that probably they caused, then yeah, I can understand the frustrations of
I can see in their defence, if it wasn't all recorded and like how we've seen it, mistakes do happen. Like, it's right, mistakes do happen. But to have the fourth official, the linesman, and the ref, who are all in the proximity of where this has actually happened, to get for all 3 of them to still come out with the wrong answer, there's no justifying that. It's an absolute comedy of an errors, one after the other, and rightly so. Mark White not happy, and
agreed. But I guess we're going to see how that plays out and how that
let me tell you how
winner affects him. I mean,
let me just tell you how bad that decision is. There's a Twitter handle, ref supports or something. Yeah, they will back referees to the ground. They'll back them, even if it's completely wrong. And even they've had quote tweeted it, saying they not even know they're being recorded. And that's when you know it's bad, when even the ref support bloody Twitter is going against their own officials. Yeah, I don't think they'll be reffing anytime soon in that level again.
We'll see. I'm sure there was a investigation around that. But in the Northern Premier League, Macclesfield actually got to 100 points with a 3-0 win over Guiseley on the weekend, which now wraps up all 3 champions in the Northern. I just said National Premier League, didn't I? I mean Northern Premier League divisions, with the Northern Premier League West. Corn won that quite a while ago, and obviously we spoke about Cleethorpes winning it. At the top of the show, just moving quickly before our first guest comes on, in the Isthmian Premier League, there's a nice little title race going on there. Dartford the top on 80 points, Billericay on 78 and Horsham both on 78 for promotion to step 2. In the Isthmian Southeast, you've got Ramsgate on 105 points, but they're still not champions. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's Sittingbourne that are chasing them all the way. I think they're running out of games, to be honest. They're on 98 points, but to still not win the league at this point in the season on 105 points is pretty mad. So the Southern Central Premier, obviously Bedford now are 3 points clear with their last-minute winner on the weekend. Again, as you spoke about, we're going to have to see what happens with that merger. I don't think they'll be too happy if they win step 3 and then get put back in step 3 when they, if they cease to exist as Bedford Town. But we'll have to see how that goes. But we spoke loads about the promotion race in that division, but the relegation is absolutely hotting up. You've got Bromsgrove on 14th, all the way down to Barwell in 19th, and there's only 2 points separating those 5 sides. So, I mean, as much as the promotion has been one to watch in that, you've got Bromsgrove, St Ives, Bishop Stortford, AFC Sudbury, Redditch, and Barwell, who could all still drop down into step 4. So that's one to keep an eye on. And in the Southern Premier South, another really tight relegation race. You got Bracknell in 15th and Tiverton in 20th, and only 6 points separate those 5 sides, with 2 of them going down. So the 2 Southern Premier Leagues look really interesting going into the end of the season from a relegation point of view. So they'll be ones to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, no, well, I do, as like a non-league fan, I do love this time of the year, but I feel for some teams who are going to get the inevitable, like getting relegated. You know what I mean? It's not nice being a Luton fan as well. I mean, we're on the brink. Any club down there is struggling. I mean,
Be talking about them in a few years, episode 200.
Yeah, Luton Town in the Spartan South Midlands.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of football left to play, and we got the double like game weekend this weekend with the Easter break, so Easter or Good Friday and Easter Monday. So Easter Monday is usually now the derby day in non-league as it is. So yeah, quite a lot of local derby fixtures coming up this weekend, which a lot of them do have big ramifications, to be honest. So I'm really looking forward to this weekend's games.
Yep, Easter weekend, isn't it? Double headers. We've got as you just said, Derby Day. We've got double Derby Day. We've got Kings Langley on Friday, and we welcome Aylesbury United on the Monday. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, what a weekend to catch some games. And like I said, a lot of the leagues are going to be changing again come 5 o'clock Friday and then once again 5 o'clock on Monday. So yeah, it's we'll have a good show next week for sure.
On the weekend, because I'm actually going to go and catch a game on the Saturday as well. So hopefully Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll probably have to speak to the missus for a couple of hours. And
back out on Monday.
Yeah. I do love an Easter special.
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah, really looking forward to it.
It looks like we are in time now for our first guest of the show. A guest who is currently the manager of a Step 5 club. It's Tommy Cooney, Ardsley Town manager. How are you, Tommy?
Yeah, all good, gents. All good, thank you. How have we been?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Cheers for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for joining on, Tommy. Just quickly, just for the listeners, you just give yourself a little background about yourself, where you've been, what you've done, and what you are doing at the minute.
Originally from Ireland, came over to Brentford when I was 17. Then just kind of played a little bit abroad, played top division of Finland, played in Sweden for a bit, and then I came back and just kind of played Step 2 to 4. Retired, well, tried to retire about 2 years ago. My old manager got the gig at Dulwich Hamlet, so I went there as assistant manager. Really enjoyed it. I just felt I wanted to go and stop playing and manage early. So I got the manager's gig at Ardsley about 18 months ago when I was 28, and yeah, still there now.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, let's take it back to your youth days. So you started playing out in Ireland, and then what was it? Brentford picked you up, so you had to come over to England, was it?
Yeah, I had a few trials. Came over to Fulham, Watford. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, so came over from Ireland, was playing for Sligo Rovers under 19s, and just got picked up. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And then whereabouts did you go from there? Was it to got down here like Boston, Scarborough, and places like that?
Yeah, so came out of there, kind of went through like any player comes out of the pro game, you kind of get lost a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably had a bigger ego than my ability, and looked at non-league and didn't really want to go into non-league. Went kind of doing what I advise every player not to do, and kind of go on trial at pro clubs, and next thing the season's nearly over. So we got to January. I was with Carlisle for quite a while on trial, didn't get in, so I just signed for Boston United in the Conference North. And that was it from there.
So obviously you've got quite a decorated non-league career with many clubs. You said you moved abroad to was it Sweden? What was it like playing over out in Sweden, or like countries like that?
Yeah, I just felt I got to a stage in non-league where non-league wasn't for me. Wanted to be full time. Didn't like non-league. It's very, very different to kind of youth football. In many aspects, you're going training every day to training on a school's 3G once a week, twice a week, on a Tuesday and Thursday night. So I wanted to go back full time. Sweden was unbelievable. The football was unbelievable out there. Very, very technical. Obviously, you're full time. Yeah, it was really, really good. Quite lonely at times because you're on your own a lot. Obviously, there was only 2 of us that were foreign. Yeah, that was good. And then I did really well there. And then I got a move to VPS, so one of the biggest clubs in Finland.
Mhm.
So that was quite a big move in my career, probably my biggest move. And then COVID hit about 2 months later.
Oh,
So they had to get rid of all their foreign players because the season was like basically not happening.
yeah.
So I went back to Ireland, just stay with my family, thinking it'd be over in a month, and then nearly 6 months later, I'm still there. So I kind of said, right, I think I was 25. The money was good in Finland, but the money I could earn, say, playing right, like step 3, step 2, and having a job, I think I was about 25, 24. I was like, right, let me kind of set up a route. I moved around a lot, location wise, living wise. So I was like, let me kind of put my roots down somewhere. So I came back to London, signed for Braintree Town in the Conference South. Started that coaching. That's when I really started coaching, and then COVID happened again.
Yeah. Do you think you'd still be out in Finland if COVID never hit? Were you
Say
enjoying
that
it?
again, Dan?
You think you'd still be out in Finland if COVID never hit and they didn't have to get rid of you? Were you enjoying it out there?
Let me just check my battery. Yeah, mate, Finland was unbelievable. Like you're at one of the biggest clubs in the country. You know, the
Yeah.
stadium was massive. The crowds were huge. Like you'd walk around, do your shopping, and like everyone knows who you are, and like it was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable experience for that kind of short term. Would I still been out there? Yeah, like you never know in football. Like you look at you kind of, you know, if you told me at 20 that I'd be managing Ardsley Town at 28, I would have said without being disrespectful, who's Ardsley Town?
Yeah.
So, you know, football can take you down paths that you don't know, and you see that a lot with players who you expect them to do certain things, and it never happens. And then you see the other side where you see players who you don't expect, and then they go on to do things that you know are unbelievable.
Yeah, and then so obviously you just mentioned Braintree Town, and then after that it was probably 4, 5, 6 club. Was you just what was it? What was it that you just kept moving around? Was you just struggling?
Yeah, again, it was just a case of like, again, I look back. I was a manager. I think like I had, I think I had an ego. Like I had an ego. Um, I was a left back. And I was always on quite good money, and I think I look back now and like as a manager, I'm big on being accountable. I wasn't that at the time. You know, I'd get benched for 2, 3 games, and I'd just want to leave
Yeah,
instead of just like getting on with it and fighting for my place. And you know, like if a player did that to me now, I'd be like it's silly, you're being stupid. And I think that's why, you know, when I manage now, I look back at my career and my old assistant Zach's. I said like, don't be stupid like me when I was younger. Don't think the game owes you something. Because you got to work hard. Like non-league, the level's quite decent. You can't just turn up and think, especially step 3. Like it's a good level of football. And then it got to a stage where I was just playing for money. I was purely playing for money. Didn't like football. It was just train once a week, play on a Saturday, pick up quite a good wage, and I just wasn't asked. And that's when I thought I'd agreed a deal to go to Canvey Island as step 3. And I was doing the travelling, and Brad, the manager there, like good as gold, such a nice guy. I just turned around to Brad and said, "Look, this ain't for me anymore, Brad. I'm just not feeling football anymore."
Why do you think that is? Is it because you maybe you never found a club where you could settle, or was it more of a
No,
mentality thing?
yeah, I think a lot of it come down to myself, if I'm honest. You know, like being accountable. I think, like, I think obviously I'd set up a business that was going quite well. Um, the money, like the money you're getting, like, you know, it got to a stage where that money was. I'd wake up on a Tuesday, I'd be like, I do not want to train tonight. I don't want to train anymore. Like I couldn't think of anything worse than driving to Canvey.
At any time in your life, not just for training.
Yeah. So it was just like for like the last 3 years of my career, I was literally just doing it for money. Because I played at a decent level, I could go to clubs and just pick up a decent wage. And I was the player that would move for an extra 50 quid. You know, I was that player. And that's not the right thing to do now, looking back. But being honest with myself and being accountable, that's the player I was. You know, I'd move for that extra 50 quid, and it got to a stage then where the money wasn't. It was nice money, but it wasn't changing my life because I was earning good money during the day. Where I'd always done football, I kind of relied on my non-league money throughout my early 20s. So then when you get to like your late 20s or mid 20s, I didn't really need that money anymore. So like, because even say you're on a good deal, like say step 3, you got to travel there, you got to travel back, you got to train. Saturdays are all, you're gone from 12 till 6. So yeah, it was funny because I rang up my old manager Barnsley, and I said, "Mate, I'm not feeling this. I don't know what to do. I don't want to just give up." And he was like, "Just relax for a bit." 2 days later, he goes, "I've just got the gig at Dulwich Hamlet. Do you want to come in with me?" So, yeah,
straight in.
yeah.
On reflection of your own, I guess, career and mentality, has that helped you now with your Arsenal team to build I guess not the team, but the individuals you want in the squad? You're not looking for those players that are going to be jumping.
I think I can relate because there's the way I've tried to do things at Ardsley is what I wanted as a player. So we've made it really professional. Like, I know it's step 5, but like the boys have got, and I'm not just saying it, but the boys have got one of the best environments in non-league because I've tried to create. I've been at step 2, I've been at step 3. It's better than any environment at those levels because I've tried to create what I wanted. So like small stuff, like the boys have got all towels after games. They've got all Lucid Sports, like drinks, energy bars before games. They've all got like every bit of training kit, tracksuits, analysis. Got like good, like the physios are decent. Like we do yoga. Like we do things properly, and that's the kind of player I've tried to target boys who've kind of had academy backgrounds that want to be coached. There's nothing worse than working 9 to 5, and you turn up on a Tuesday night. You've driven an hour and a half or an hour, and you're doing 5-a-side for 45 minutes, and then the coach like, right, you can go home, gents. It's like that. Yeah. That's what I hated about non-league. I just felt there was no. It was just too Mickey Mouse for me. At certain clubs, and that's fine. That's fine, but it just wasn't for me.
Yeah. And do you think that's changed a lot from pre-COVID when you thought, I don't really want to drop down to non-league? Do you find clubs are a bit more professional now because a lot of players are dropping out of the professional system and down into non-league?
Yeah, like I'd say the one thing is there's some serious money in non-league now. Like some serious money.
There is.
Like you look at step 3. Like I was speaking to someone 2 days ago. A bad budget at step 3 is like $7,000 a week now. Like that's considered like a poor budget. So you can be like an average, say like a left back, for example. You can pick up 400 or 500 quid playing step 3. So like I think the things have changed. You've got to be more professional now. So you treat it like a full-time job, don't you? If you're picking up that kind of money, you're more professional. And also managers don't get as much time as they used to now. So I think there's a lot more coaches coming into the game. So then the environments are getting better. Even at our level, like there's some really good at like sides, good managers at our level that like work their socks off and give it everything they got, considering the kind of the benefits they're getting or the salary or the wages they're getting back.
Yeah. So let's take it back to Dulwich. I mean, how was it being an assistant? Was you an assistant there?
Yeah. So I went in. Sorry, gents. Let me just put my phone on charge. Sorry, can you see me all right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Right then, gents. Sorry. So I went in with Dulwich with Barnsley. We went in as an interim to start off with, and we did really well. And then we got the gig, me, Gilly, and Barnsley.
Yeah, and how was it? Obviously, being an assistant to now being a manager. Did you gain a lot of experience prior to taking the Ardsley job?
Yeah, look, Dulwich is an unbelievable club. It's we had 3,500 people every week. We had a great squad. Obviously, I was quite young going in, but I knew a lot of the lads from having played with them or played against them, so it was quite easy going in to start off with. I've learned a lot from Barnsley because for me, he was one of my, favourite managers who worked with. He's a good guy, and I learned a lot from him. Learned a lot from that spell as assistant. It's very, very different. You turn up at the ground at 12 o'clock, you leave at 7. Whereas as a player, you get there at 1:30. Everything's done for you. You're out watching players throughout the week. You're obviously at that level. You've got so much. You've got so many more tools. So like you've got opposition. You've got like what's the word? You've got analysis on every opposition because at that level you've got to upload all your games.
Yeah.
So you could say we had Bath City at home the next Saturday. I could watch 20 of their games if I wanted to. So
and that was mandatory from. Is that from the league or from the FA that you have to upload at that level?
I think it's the league because now they stream it. So I think it's on one of the streaming websites. So yeah, all the games were run what's the name of it? Y Scout maybe I think it was called.
That's it. Yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what the app was. But yeah, so you could watch opposition. You could watch as much as you wanted to. So a lot of journeys of that league. We played Bath. We got to Bath, and unfortunately, we played Bath, and I don't know if you heard about when that kid hit his head off the wall. So that was an unfortunate situation. So it was a case of you've got Bath, Taunton, some big journeys of that league. You're leaving on the coach at 12 o'clock midday to get there for 6 at times. Yeah. So good learning curve.
The Ardsley Town job came available. What was it that attracted you to Ardsley Town, and what were the movements? How did it all come around?
Weird. So I'll be honest, I'd never heard of the club before I got the gig. My assistant at the time, Zach, texted me. He said, "Look, this job's come up." He was quite local to the club, and he said, "Look, I think it'd be a good gig." So yeah, I said, "Look, all right, let me put my CV in, see what happens." Had an interview, and yeah, that was it. They offered to me, and then we went. Tough time at the. They were second bottom at the time, so it was a tough gig for my first management role.
Whenabouts was it you joined Ardsley?
December 23.
Yeah. So to be fair, I've been in and around the Spartan for many years, and Ardsley have always been that team that have been a bottom 2 club, regardless. And obviously you came in. I think you got more points than what they had combined in 2 years, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah. So the first year, I came in at Christmas. They were 19th. Complete overall of the squad. I got rid of everyone bar 5. Brought in, I say my own players, but the players that you could get in, it's very difficult to bring players in at step 5 with not much money. Second bottom, it's not really that very attractive.
Yeah.
But anyway, we done okay. Finished 16th, and then I could really plan, really put my kind of stamp on it this summer. Worked really hard and worked really hard behind the scenes from December to April. Got to know the league. Went and watched teams, kind of knew what players I wanted to recruit, and then worked really, really hard to get a good squad together. And yeah, we've had a really successful season. We're 1 point off best points tally since 2012.
Yeah,
wow,
it's the highest finish they've had at step 5. So yeah, look, we've had a good season. Playoffs are going to go to the last game. It's not in our hands. It's probably unlikely, but it's hard because you got to this stage. We didn't expect to get to this stage, but you want to kind of go and achieve it. But on the face of it, to finish 6th when the last 3 years have been 16th, 17th, 15th.
Yeah,
good.
Well, as I said, yeah, I mean, Ardsley, they've never been a club that have been in that. So it shows what a remarkable job you've done. You just mentioned the playoffs there. Wormley with a game in hand on yourselves. What is it? 3 games left for you? Is it? You play 36?
No, one game.
One.
34 and
One. Oh,
yeah.
shit. Yeah. So I didn't know that. I thought you had a couple left. So yeah, when you say it's out of your hands, I mean, you need the Wormley to lose.
Yeah, Wormley got to lose tomorrow night. Wormley got Aylesbury tomorrow night. And look, they can be a bulky team. They're one of those teams where they lose against the bottom and kind of get results against the top. So look, I've seen weirder things happen in football. So you gotta believe while it can still be possible. We're level on points. We got a better goal difference. So if they went and lost tomorrow, then it's in our hands because we're ahead of them by 2 goals. And if they were to lose plus that, so we've got Baldock Saturday, local derby, and they've got Romania away. Look, I can't see them throwing it away. They're a very good side. But look, it's been a good battle, and I think it's a good indicator for the league for playoffs to go to the last game of the season. It's a
good foundation for yourself moving into next year as well. People are going to see, or players are going to see the progression that you've made with the club, and they're going to look to buy into that, especially how you're saying you brought in a more professional feel around the club as well. That's got to be attractive to players at step 5, step 4.
Yeah, I think last year was very hard to convince players to come. When you've had a few seasons of, not good results, and let's be honest, Ardsley's kind of in the middle of nowhere. We've changed things completely. We've brought training to London, so we train near London. So I've tried to target the London market and target that kind of area, and that's worked really well for us. So we train once a week on a Wednesday for 2 hours, and then the other session the boys do a gym session and put it in the group chat. When you're paying boys not much money to expect them to travel to Ardsley 3 times a week is just not possible. But it is possible. But then the caliber of player, you got to target a certain niche, and that's the kind of niche we targeted. Boys that could play higher, but just can't give the time. And look, we've got a really good group. I really do feel if we can keep this group and add 2 or 3, we got a real chance. Obviously, you got the likes of AFC Welling coming in next year, so financially they're going to blow everyone out of the water. But that's fine. That's football. We'd all love a massive budget, but it's part of football. It's part of the challenge.
You can't control what other clubs do either, so you just yourself, haven't you?
Exactly that.
So obviously this season, you say you didn't expect to be where you are. What will your expectations be for next year? Because you're pretty much on a similar path to what Matty Day was doing. I'm good friends with Matt when I was at Caney Heath. He took him from bottom to 7th, but this year he's lost a lot of players and he's really struggled. But if are you looking to keep your squad and probably go on and win it?
Well, look, when I say expectations, my expectations were I think we could have finished that high because I knew what the quality we had within the group. Club's expectations were no expectations. There was just stay up. There was no. I've been lucky to that. With the club, the way they've been with me. I speak to some mates of mine who are managers, and their chairman's in their ear all the time. And the club are nothing but supportive to me. Anything I need, they'll try and sort it for me. They've been good that way. Yeah, look, Matty did an unbelievable job at Coney Heath. He just, and this is the thing, and this is the chat out of the club. Sometimes you can be a victim of your own success.
Mm-hmm.
You have a good year, and then the club expect that for the following year, and unfortunately, football don't work like that. Look, I'm ambitious, and the club know that. I've got no interest in managing a step 5. If you said to me in 10 years' time you'd be step 5, I'd just retire. That's not. I don't want to manage at this level long term. It's a tough slog managing at this level because you're paying boys peanuts. So you're trying to ask for commitment. You're their last commitment. They've got family. They've got work. They've got everything else before football. So yeah, look, I'm ambitious. I want to push on. The club know that, and they know I want to push on. So, well, look, I'm 29, and look, hopefully I can push on with Ardsley. They're trying to get a 3G down in the next 2 to 3 seasons. Would really help us. But yeah, regarding next season, we've built a really good group. The group is so close. We do a lot of stuff off the pitch. Look, boys are going to leave. That's how football works. But look, I think we'll have players wanting to join us this year. Last year, you had to really try and convince players to join us.
With your background and obviously the way you've progressed Ardsley this season, if someone was to come in for you at a higher level, would you take it in the summer?
Look, it's a tough one. it's a tough one. I've had 2 opportunities to leave this year, and I've both turned them down because I see it all the time. Managers move, even play. Look, I need to learn from my playing career. If I don't learn from my playing career, then I'm stupid. You move up a level, you move up 2 levels, but if you get sacked within the first, you're back to square one. You need to really pick the right club. I'm at a club where I can learn and fail if that, because you're going to fail at some stage. You're not going to be successful from August to April. You're going to fail at some stage within that. Like there's been times where we've lost 3 on the bounce. Some clubs you get sacked for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So my next club, if they're, it'd have to be a club that is not trigger happy. Not ringing me up going, right, he needs to go, because I'm not that type of manager. I'm very much, let me run the show and let me kind of do my thing. I won't have any involvement. I won't have my chairman telling me to sign someone, or I won't have any of that. I'm my own man. So yeah, like my next club would have to be, they'd have to back me and kind of give me that kind of
stability, isn't it? Like you said, learning from your career where maybe you didn't find that stability as a player, but now you have that at Arsley. It'd be hard to move somewhere without having that comfort.
Yeah, exactly. Look, as I said, I'm still 29, so I've got loads of learning to do. The emotional side of things I probably need to work on and whatnot. I'm still trying to kick every ball while I'm managing on the sides. I need to kind of learn on that and work on stuff like that. And Arsley's a perfect club to kind of they let me learn. They accept me who I am. They accept sometimes on the pitch I can be a bit nuts and whatnot, and they embrace it. It's only for the want of wanting to win. Off the pitch, I'm 2 different people. But yeah, it's a case of, let's see what happens. But I do believe I can get this club promoted, and I think I owe it to the boys. If they're going to stay in the summer, then, I probably owe it to them to give it that another crack next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the trajectory you're on obviously proves that. So, yeah, fingers crossed, obviously, for this year. But if not next year, then I can see it being a real force in that spot.
No, I appreciate that, mate. I appreciate that. Hopefully that'll be the case.
Yeah, well, hopefully you do get the playoffs. And but listen, we wish you all the very best with Arsley. We'll keep tabs on you, and hopefully we'll get you on again soon, Tommy. But I appreciate your time tonight, mate.
Cheers, gents. Thanks
Brilliant.
for that.
Thanks for your time, Tommy. Take care.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Another young manager, really hitting the heights. Really, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, he did say about his playing career. He looks as though he could have had a decent career, but money.
Still kick a ball at Arsley, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit of a player. Yeah, I've seen him. Well, we beat him 6. Well, I say we. When I was at Caney Heath at the start of the season, we actually pumped him 6-1. But he played, but he weren't too happy. But yeah, no, he's a very good player. But so yeah, that was Tommy Cooney, the Arsley Town manager, and now we are going to move on to our next guests. They are the management duo, and they've recently just received some brilliant news. So let's welcome them to the show. It's Craig Merrick and Danny Norris.
All right, lads.
How you doing?
All right, gents.
All good, all good. Right, start with you, Mezza. Just for the listeners, just give yourself a little background. Tell the listeners a background, a little bit about yourself, what you've done, and what you're doing at the minute.
So yes, I actually broke through at Crawley at 16, 20 years ago now. Spent a bit of time there, then had I think I said to you before, a little bad move to London County. From there, played at Ampshill, Biggleswade United, back to Crawley, and a bit of a period at Kent, which was a successful one. Got a phone call around 2017, 18 when I was still playing from Chris Devan. Basically said, all right, mate, just so you know, you're the player assistant manager now at Crawley. I said, am I? He went, yeah, I had an interview last night and you're in, mate. I said, all right, yeah, I'm actually playing for Ampshill, mate. He went, yeah, I put a 7-day in. So, yeah, next thing you know, I was a player assistant back at Crawley, probably 15 years from the last time I was there. Ended up, he had work commitments, ended up taking on the job. sort of still thought I was player manager really. COVID obviously hit, was a bit of a non-starter. Ended up having work commitments and stuff myself, so walked away, took a bit of a break, popped up at Codicote about 9 months later. Don't really know how it happened, just spoke to Jim, and anyone that knows Jim at Codicote, he's absolutely brilliant, mate. And Moody and Dale down there, they sold it to me, I sold myself to them, and it was a good little partnership for nearly 3 years. Yeah, we had a good little run there, and then obviously took a bit of a break, and then interviewed Thursday and Friday. We got given the Crawley job, so yeah, here I am back in the game.
Back in the game. Well, firstly, congratulations on the appointment to both of you.
Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, that's good. Danny Norris. Oh, same question to you, mate. Just a bit of background of where you've been, what you've done.
To be fair, mate, you probably know better than I do. Everywhere you seem to have popped up over the years, there's always been a bit of a closeness. So, yeah, I've been doing. I'm from a football perspective, absolute legend in my own lunchtime. Never really played adult football. Stopped playing at about 20, 21. Came through the academy circuit, bit of Luton. Went off and did the college schemes at Hitchin and Stevenage, and went down to Weymouth and played down there a little bit. But stopped playing at about 19. Went over to New Zealand and had a little stint over there for about 3 or 4 months. Realised playing football in the most beautiful country in the world is not the one. Just get on the beers, and kind of never really looked back. And obviously, look at me, I carried that on. So yeah, came back about 22, 23. Joined London Coney Reserves with the good old Jim Nichols as his assistant manager. When about a year or so after Tomo had taken over the first team when he moved over from Harpenden, got the call up to the first team by default because Matty Day, or Chris Day at the time, stopped. I think he might have moved, so I jumped in with Cavs and Tomo. Spent a couple of years there, as you know, couple of unbelievable years. We finished second twice. 1 year failed the ground grading, lost half the team with about 7 games to go after being about 12 points clear. AFC Dunstable then went up that year. Then we had another crack at it the second year, and it was the year that Kings Langley were just promotion. So I had a quality couple of years there. Then moved on to Welwyn Garden City. As you know, my little brother played quite a good level, and he kind of was dropped down the leagues from Cambridge, so it was like the opportunity to go over with him. Went over there with Fisher. He ruptured his cruciate ligament within about 3 months of being there, and then I think I stayed for about another 6 months after that, and my little boy was born. So I basically took maybe 3 or 4 years out of the game, and then probably the year just before we were about to go into COVID, I came over to Coney Heath with Tomo again, put the call in, joined Tomo and Ant over there, and had a wicked couple of seasons. We obviously were in the 2 COVID years, so we ended up winning the league by default. Went up to step 4, which was an interesting year. We went up there, and we, it was just tough, man. Tomo obviously walked after about 19 games, left me and Burns here to rebuild, and it was really interesting, but we just didn't have the system. We just didn't have the right budgets in to be sustainable, and it was but it was an experience, a properly good experience. Went into the next year, got about 9 games into the season. Didn't have a great start, but we're about 3 or 4 games unbeaten, and I think the club just wanted to go in a new direction, so ended up jogging us on, which fell out of love with football for a little bit. Didn't really do anything. Meza put the call in, said, "Do you want to come out down at Codicote that first year?" And I just weren't really that bothered about it, to be fair. And then we stayed in touch, and then I joined Craig the second year over at Codicote as his assistant, and never looked back, have we, Mez?
No.
That's made in heaven.
Give you a home, mate.
So what attracted you both to Crawley Green?
Well, obviously, I know the club pretty well from playing, and I was a youth player there as well. So I've probably been affiliated to the club for 20 odd years, and from Luton, other than St Joe's, obviously on a Sunday, I'd probably be affiliated with Crawley if anyone said my name. and Matt just happened to speak to us about 2 weeks ago, and said basically Paul has sort of had a word in his ear and was looking to step down, and knew me and Dan were available. Said he'd approached sort of 4 or 5 managers. Did we want to interview? So I rang Dan, said, look, I've had an approach from Matt. What do you think? I said, I know the place. I think from talking to Matt, they want to go somewhere. He said, look, let's have a chat. It looks a good little setup. Our network suits the area, sort of Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, that's sort of our player pool. Yeah, and then obviously snuck in, watch the game like you do, so you get a bit of inside knowledge from Wednesday interview. And then Thursday we sat with Matt, and to be honest, we sold ourselves best we could, but obviously good enough to get the job. And Matt told us all the sort of things we wanted to hear, which was good, and hopefully it's a good match. Like, obviously with our connections, I think it will be. I'm a Luton lad, know the Luton area. Good connections with St Joe's, good connections with sort of step 4 managers in Jermaine, Chris, people like that. So I'm hoping having that sort of pull as well will help us for players that aren't sort of making the step at step 4 to come in. And obviously Crawley have got 44 youth teams. They've got a development team, they've got an 18s team. So like, I come through that ranks. I know Danny Watson's, people like that, Mark Bunkers, like good players over the years. Luke Andrews come through when we were there, like top players that have gone on and played good levels. So for us to be able to tap into that network as well, it was just a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest with you, to take the opportunity back at step 5, where sort of both of us want to be, and at a club that's got ambitions to progress in the next 4 or 5 years. So
yeah, it sounds like a great foundation for you boys to build on. Obviously, with your experience and network of players as well, then hopefully for you and the club, it's the right move.
Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope in a year's time we're talking about having a good season.
Promotion, yeah. Fingers crossed.
Don't know about that, but let's just have a good one. Top half of the table, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. But let's take it back a little bit. So you obviously joined up with each other at Connacht. How was it over Connacht? I know you said about the gym and all that, but how was it on the pitch? Yeah,
to be honest, we had. I think you come over whilst you took up the games. We had a great season, to be honest with you. Like the Real Bedford win, especially, will obviously stick in a lot of people's minds, including mine and Dan's. Probably something we didn't foresee. I don't think anyone foreseed, and we were expecting to get hammered. To be honest with you, we sort of set ourselves up to just enjoy the night. And next thing you know, we scored. I think 3-1 was it, Dan, at one point, and we're just laughing at each other on the bench. Didn't really know how to.
Me and Crossbar at 3-1.
Yeah.
It should have been 4.
And it was a magic night, and I think we brought a bit of a buzz back to the place. I think when you speak to like Jim and that, obviously when we went there was one team. We managed to get a reserve team back and 18s back, sort of hopefully put a foundation in place for the club to get back where I think it should be at step 6. But unfortunately, only one team goes up, and we didn't get put up because obviously AFC Welling were fantastic that season. And yeah, just in the end, it ran its course, I think, naturally. And we parted on good ways. I think everyone thought we were probably going somewhere. I think I got about 20 messages saying, where are you going? But it was just a general run the course sort of situation. We spoke to Jim, said, look, we'll give you the next couple of games. You can find someone. And them games ended up getting called off like they always do. And so we actually ended up just going in sort of end of November.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of those where the season that we had, that with the players that we kind of brought in, and then actually kind of leans into the Crawley ethos a little bit, is that we took a load of young lads in that weren't quite getting game time at step 5, weren't quite playing as much as what they probably should do. Spent a pre-season selling the dream to some of these, going, look, it's step 7, it's similar to county football. However, we both come from experienced backgrounds where you've got to kind of build a bit of a culture, build a kind of standard, put them on a kind of a platform to go, right, listen, you do well, you're going to nick a move. Actually, and then to our detriment, to be fair, the following year, we lost half the side. And it's kind of, you take them as far as you can, you give them a ceiling to go and play, and you give them an environment that makes them enjoy their football again. Well, we had a lad travelling up from Chiswick that was playing step 2 football 3 years ago for no money. But he knows what we're about. He knows that he's going to be playing with other young lads that, want to run through a brick wall for you. And I mean, I think that it's not just the Real Bedford game, even the Coney Heath game, I think obviously bittersweet, they've let us go the year before and we've turned up and knocked them out the cup 2 leagues above us a couple of years. For me, that was a great night. But we had lads on there that were also at Coney Heath that couldn't get in the Coney Heath side. And they've gone out onto that pitch and they've got their heads down and they've run for 90 minutes, not stopped. And similar to Real Bedford. And, that was one of those unfortunate things that we probably should have left in the summer. We said it before, didn't we? We know some of these lads are going to get nicked. It's the way of the world. You can't stop these lads. If they get an opportunity to go up a couple of levels, pat them on the back and say, best of luck, lads. You can't get in. And that's one of the best things about that. And I think we kind of just hit a ceiling. And then that's what's so exciting about the Crawley Green job, right? And Craig said it there, 44 youth teams.
Yeah.
All they want to do is bring through youth. Luton is one of the best catchment areas outside of London, in my opinion. There is talent for days coming out of that town. And, Crawley Green isn't that kind of money-led club. It's not a budget club. It's sustained. How do you make these clubs sustainable? Welshie, you were part of Coney Heath, right?
Yeah.
That Coney Heath side went from bottom of the league after a manager that left them before. Tomo took them over. Sheps come through, Nagsy come through, Joe Newton come through, Issa come through. All of these lads playing level, £5 a point, £10. You had a group community, and they're playing step 4 football. Yeah, okay, they all went up the levels.
Yeah.
We had Sippo come. I remember Sippo turning up at 16 years of age on trial from London Coney, and I stood next to Tom. I was like, this lad is not going to be with us for long. We need to start playing. I think he might have not even been 16 at the time. And that's the only way you can kind of grow clubs now, unless you've got a benefactor or someone putting them up. And Mez has got an eye for talent. You can see a youngster, and it's that raw ability to be able to, or it's a youngster with raw ability you can kind of hone a little bit, isn't it, Mez? And
Yeah, I think obviously coming from Luton as well, I quite like the lads that people say weren't a guy, they got a bad attitude, they got this, they got that. They ain't got a bad attitude. They're just young lads that come from Luton. They've got a bit of a chip on their shoulder. You know what I mean? They might not have had a good upbringing that some others have had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I had a good upbringing, but I've come from Luton, and you can represent with them. I understand. I've grown up with people like that I've gone to school with, and you sort of put your arm around them and say, look, I know what you might have come from. I've got friends that have come from this place, that place, and I want to look after you. And the minute then you do that, they think, hold on a second, this lad's actually looking after me. We'd say to them, look, come here. I want you to go higher. I'm not here to hold you back. I want you to do well. I want you to go and progress your career. And I want you to go. I played for Mezra and Dan when I was 18, 19, 20. And they gave me the tools to go on, attitude-wise, ability-wise, to progress in football. And, I hope 10 years down the line you speak to people and that's what they say about us. And, yeah, like Dan said, we're not going to have the money at Crawley that some other clubs in that league. But I do think we'll get a side together that will be competitive.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure you will as well. So obviously at Connecticut, it was struggling to keep hold of players because they want to play higher. But at Crawley Green, are you going to take the same direction? And I know you said about the youth team already, but are you going to be doing similar to what you do? You're not going to change anything and go and get build a squad around players that you know that can do it, or are you invested in your youth?
Mate, obviously, no doubt about it. You need a spine of players that have played step 5 or 4 and understand the game, because we're not going to put ourselves into trouble, put it that way. And I think they need that. We've watched the last few games, and I don't think people realise how good a squad they are, but they're just young. They've actually got, even myself, I'll be honest, and Dan went to the Cockfosters game, and we were both like, Jesus, I know that they look like they're down there, but there's actually a lot of talent in that team. They just need a bit more of a spine of, say, 28 to 32-year-olds that have maybe done it, that can drag a few of them through a bit of a bad spell, Because I watched them against Wormley, and they absolutely demolished Wormley. Absolutely demolished them. I think it's 7-3 it finished.
Yeah.
And Wormley had to win. They were trying to push for the playoffs, and they've got absolutely turned over on Tuesday night in Luton. And I think that's what I want to bring as well. I want people to come to the Brace and think, oh my God, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to Luton on Tuesday night. And that's how we've got to make it a bit of a fortress, really. Anytime I played for a Luton team, no one wanted to play us. They used to think we were a little bit horrible, a little bit needly. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's what they're missing a little bit, is a bit of grit, bit of determination, bit of sort of Luton in them, And
you got to build that character around the club, especially like you say. You're not going to have the budget. You're not going to have everyone at your disposal. But if you bring in the youth players, you kind of count on that player development and then bring a bit of character to the club. Like you said, that's a good recipe for success for home games for sure.
And we've got a good clubhouse, like obviously not at the Brace, but 5 minutes away where our sort of home club is, where we're hoping to get back to in the next couple of seasons anyway. There's talks of doing that. But the clubhouse is wicked, like old school social club, like £3.10 a pint or whatever it is. But it's what I knew in life. Do you know what I mean? Like Welsh Knows and the Balmar Club when I was a kid with my uncles, going to the Sandridge Club and stuff like that. Like social clubs were the environment I grew up in, and you used to see proper players there that understood football, And I think if we can get that integrated into some of these young lads, then we'll have something good. But obviously, it's going to take a while, and it's got a bit of a culture change, shall we say? And I think we can do it. I think we've got that sort of in us to make that happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. So what are you two like as a management team then? You both on par with each other? Do you fall out a lot, or you've got mixed ideas, or what is it? Danny?
I'd say our ideas are pretty much similar, but just a bit good cop, bad cop, I'd probably say.
Yeah, do you know what? It's interesting because I don't think we've had one argument. I don't think there's been really any disagreement, and I'm sure there'll probably be a bit more. There's a bit more pressure at step 5 than there is at step 7. But I suppose we put ourselves in a pressure position last year. But I think we've bounced off each other really well. It's very flat structure, right? I think I come from, and I think this is the same with you, Craig, as well. You didn't play in any of the times I coached, but I grew up under Tomo, right? And and you need a couple of voices. It's we all put the same amount of time into this. It's that hierarchical approach, isn't it? Look, Mez's name's at the top of the door, right? And that's important that they know that, and we set that out together. But you have to have that environment where you're a complementary voice to each other, because the lads will respect that. Some will try and take the piss, but if they take the piss, they're out the door. Simple as that. No one's bigger than the shirt, bigger than the club. Yeah. Best mates teams win leagues, and if you can convey that from a management team and you can get people on side, I'll probably put my arm around people more. But Mez is better on a night out than I am. I'll just disappear and go home. But Mez, so it's kind of finding the balance, and what we've done that really well. Tomo was one of the best at it. He would lean to you. What do you think? I'm not going to say anything here, lads. You can see that better than I can. I'm a bit lost in this. I think we had it like a couple of times last year. You have to come from a position where it's level playing field on the side. But too many voices, no. Yeah. But we have a nice, easy flow. And I think from a training perspective, Craig says, right, let's work on this. We go and work on it. On a match day, there's a direction comes from Mez, and then we bounce off it. So it's been quite smooth. Like I'm surprised. He hasn't called me a dickhead once, which isn't usual for me. I'll be honest with you. In football, isn't usual. He's not called me fat, nothing. That normally comes normal. So yeah, it's been a nice transition. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't bothered about football that year at Codicut last year. We won nothing. It was one of my favourite years I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, in football, I've not really given him any abuse, but in Benidorm, Jesus, I had to give him some dogs, mate. I don't think he made it out, lads. If I'm honest with you, I don't think he used to do a couple of drinks in a day, and then we didn't see him. So that's the most abuse he's ever got.
I haven't got it in me anymore, man. I'm too old.
I've got no time for stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's all or nothing.
I can do the lad too much out. I haven't got it in me.
It's getting at 5 or not at all. Do you know what I mean?
I'll go home at 5.
Yeah,
in the afternoon.
Right, Mez, I see yesterday the management team was announced, and Tony Golder, you are bringing Tony Golder in. He was also you at Codicut. I've obviously been at London Coney with Tony Golder. What a fantastic bloke, first of all, for almost.
Brilliant, mate.
And, what is it about Tony? Why you wanted to bring him with you again?
Mate, you must have seen him on the training ground yourself. I think he just... when you sit and you talk to someone and they talk football and you think, fucking hell, why is he only coaching this level? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just like his insights to the game is as good as I've probably listened to from a kid to now. You know, like you can ring him on the phone on a Saturday night and he'd have seen 75 things that you've not even thought about. And he's brilliant, mate. Like, and he's good around the players. He's so professional in what he does. And Dan actually introduced me to him and said, look, it was actually nearly come the first season, Dan, didn't he? And yeah, mate, I've got all the time in the world for him now. I've met him. It's just one of them people that you want, like, as long as I can keep him with me in the future, then I'd keep him with me, because we're lucky to have him, I think, personally. I'm lucky to have both of them. I'll be honest, I don't coach. It's not for me. Don't like it. I'm more old school in the sort of, I'm a manager, that's what I am. I sort of give a grilling. That's sort of me. Like Dan says, I bounce on a night out. I get the best out of people. A bit of a chatty man that gets the best out of people. And then I leave the coaches to coach. I tell them how I want to play, what I want to do, and they put it on the training ground. And to have him and Dan is, yeah, a dream, really, to be honest with you. I've been lucky, really. I've had 2 jobs, one at Codicote, one at Crawley before. I had Aaron Morgan, who you know, at Burko. And now I've got Dan and Tony. So I've always been blessed, luckily, with good coaches. So, yeah, when we knew Tony we basically sort of rung Tony and said, look, we've got the job. He said yes straight away. And I was delighted, mate.
Yeah. No, well, when we was at London Colney, I mean, he was unreal to be in I always used to go to change rooms, and yeah, as you said, the things he sees that no one else would see, he takes very seriously. So I think as a free, that is probably one of the best management teams you'll probably likely see at Step 5 next season. So well done to you all. Danny Norris.
Appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. Danny, you're a coach assistant. Do you have any aspirations to ever become a manager yourself, or are you happy with doing what you're doing?
No, not really. It's a different kind of pressure. I like the fact that I can turn my phone off and walk away, even though I don't. Yeah, I'm not. Not really. I think at this level, we all put the same amount of time in.
Yeah.
So you kind of, sometimes you're doing a little bit more than you would, but no, like, to have to think about the direction, to sort of style of play. It's not something that I love to go and work with someone to do it. Someone can set the strategy and then I'll go and bounce it, which is ironic because my day job is completely separate, where I have to have control and I want to set the strategy. But from a football, not really. Never say never in 20 years' time, but yeah. I just I do this because I want to enjoy it. And if I'd stopped enjoying it because I had to take all the stress, then it would ruin a massive outlet for me. And football for me makes the world go round, and I'm happy doing it. And so I'm happy to be a number 2 whenever.
Yes, fair enough. And Meza, obviously you're still playing a bit. You've been turning out for Stopsley United, who they've won the league and won a cup. But obviously now you're back managing. Is that time to hang the boots up once and for all? Or
yeah. Look, I've retired every year for the last 3 years, I think. But no, I actually said to Dan, like, I think going to Stopsley was perfect for me for the last 6 months. Like, I think Jason, the manager, was my manager for probably about 5-6 years across a couple of clubs, and then obviously he had a break from football. I went into sort of player management, all that sort of stuff, and to go back and play for him with mates for like 6 months and achieve what we've achieved and stuff like that is probably like almost the perfect ending, should we say? Like, yeah. If we've got a big cup final on the second, if we win that as well, then look, I'm probably done, even though, I'm still best player on the pitch. But like, I think that. Obviously, I play a bit of vets. I still try and turn out for St. Joseph forever short and stuff like that. But from a Saturday perspective, yeah, I think that's me well and truly done now.
No, fair enough. You said earlier on in the show, with your connections with obviously Burko manager, the Barton manager, will you be looking to lean on them maybe for like some dual regs or players that probably don't go on trial there? Are you going to be looking to have that little connection there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I think both of them know good players, and they're not going to tell me to take anyone or duel anyone that they don't think isn't going to be good for Crawley Green. and they're not the sort of managers that are going to start calling them back, leaving me in the shit and stuff like that. They're both going to say, look, you've got them for 2 months or you've got them for the season and that sort of thing. And
yeah,
like I said, when you're not blessed with big budgets, to have a step 4 quality player, or who will be a step 4 quality player, there's probably a step 5 player for free, probably, and they might train with them on a first but play for you, could be the difference between us being a bottom half side to a top half side. And I think you have to look at that. And I will, like, obviously I'll be bringing them for friendlies, advice, all that sort of stuff. And I like to learn, I like to pick up things. And I think talking to sort of managers that that are managing higher, that's how it happens. And hopefully they'll give me a couple of gems. I remember when I was at Crawley before, Devan gave me Jake De Boer. Do you know what I mean? Happy days. So, like, do you know what I mean? If he wants to give me anyone else like that, I'm delighted. So, yeah. And I think, like, Jermaine this season has given Crawley a couple of lads already, and Josiah Ramsey, Kieran Maher, and people like that, and they're quality. So, yeah, I think I want to naturally lean on them relationships.
Will there be anyone from... I don't know if it's a bit controversial, but you got the likes of Liam Hayden and now Dunstable Town, who you had at Codicat. Is there chances that you're going to go probably to get your players back in a way, or is you don't want us to talk about that at a minute?
No, I'm not disrespectful. You know what I mean? In the sense of, like, that at the end of the day, they've got a week at whatever their clubs are, and I'm glad to see all them sort of lads doing well. Like, obviously I've known Liam for a long time, so when he got the opportunity to go to Dunstable, we were pushing him not out the door because obviously he's our star man, but recommending that being a Luton lad, living that close is a great opportunity. Dunstable Town's a massive football club. Yeah. So Liam knows that, like, we appreciate him as a person, and I'm not really bothered either way. Like, I'd love to have him, love to not have him. I wouldn't speak disrespectfully. I haven't really spoke to anyone, I'll be honest. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. Like I said, we only interviewed Thursday, found out Friday, went to the game Saturday, and obviously now we're back to work Monday. So, yeah, it's a bit crazy at the minute. And obviously, from a personal perspective, I've got a cup game Wednesday for Stopsy. I've got a St. Joe's game Thursday. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a bit
busy time.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit busy few days. And obviously, we're down at the game tomorrow for Crawley to have a watch again. So, yeah, it's we'll have a week or two to sort of get our feet in the door and then sort of look more into other players then.
Yeah. So, what is the future for you both? Obviously, I know you're going on to Crawley Green in the summer. What is the future in the game? Do you want to go higher? Or, obviously, I know everyone wants to go as high as they can, but do you feel like that is where you want to go, you want to head? Or what is it? Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a sniff at step 4, right? And while it was a tough year and we struggled and, we ebbed and flowed, I'd love to give it another crack. And I think, the ground's a bit better. The fans are a bit more, I remember going to Bedford Town with Coney Heath, and we went on non-league day, and there was like 950 people there, and the dugouts are right behind the stand. And I've made one shout and got battered for about 70 minutes by these 3 blokes stood behind me. I loved every minute of it, it's a great crack. But I think from a Crawley Green perspective, every club has to have an aspiration to do a little bit better than where they are. Yeah. And that was one of the things with Crawley. Who knows in 2 years' time, could take 3 years, could take 1 year. I'll do anything to go as high as a club that I'm with wants to go. So yeah, for me, and again, if Craig wants to carry and stay doing it for a couple of years and we get as high as we can, then that's me. I'm happy with it. Yeah.
Same question to you, Meza, as a manager. What's your perspective?
Yeah, I think there's. I wouldn't personally. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say in it. You got kids, you got businesses, stuff like that. It's tough. I don't know if I'd ever want to go above step 4 when I look at the travelling. But for me, like I said, I'm a Luton lad, and Luton needs a step 4 club. So my ambition is to hopefully, bit of a 5-year plan when me and Dan sat down at Crawley, is their plans to move back to the club. So you probably know they play down at the Brace, Luton Town's training ground, which is a lovely facility in certain ways. Can't have a beer, bad thing, obviously. Yeah. Could get more people through the door, but I think to myself, would I watch Hakeem every week if I couldn't have a beer? Maybe not. Like, when you put it in perspective. But if we can move back to the Crawley Green Club, to the 3G there, build the sort of stadium around that, that club will move in a massive direction. That there's, say, 80, 90 people on a Saturday afternoon, as well as youth teams playing on the pitches, that would walk onto that every week to watch them play. Because they can have a beer by the side and stuff like that. And then your gates are bigger, your budget's naturally bigger. They can progress as a club. So, and the plans they're trying to put into place was one of the reasons me and Dan were so interested, because they do want to do that. So I would like to be at Step Forward Crawley. That's my honest answer. And from there, I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to jump on a coach to Leiston on a Tuesday night. Look, I respect everyone that does it, like, and then they get up for work the next day and stuff like that. Like, absolutely fair play. Like, I honestly respect that so much. Like, I've seen lads over the years that I've played with do that, and I think absolutely fair play. The thought of getting up at 5 the next day and going to work is like not for me, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a massive commitment, isn't it?
It is
massive, and I think you see some managers go up to Step 3 from Step 4 and suddenly leave their clubs and go back to Step 4. And do you know what? I completely get it. It. Like, unless you're sort of, you see like the good coaches that are doing full-time coaching and then they're doing the teams on the side as another job. They're in football all the time. I get it. Like, you love football. That's your job and your hobby. For me, I've got a business. I do mechanical electrical engineering. Like, that is my money earner. That is what puts food on my table. So that'll always have to come first. So if that any level that sort of interferes with that would not really be for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
that's true.
That makes total sense.
Right, as a player or a man, who's the best? Right, Dan, I'll start with you. Who's the best player you've played or coached?
Coached or played?
Played with or coached, whichever one.
Oh, good. That's fucking hell.
Mezza.
I'll go. Played with Keith Keane at Luton.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Unbelievable player. Should have played a much better level. Coached too many at this level, but I'm gonna go with Jack Smith. Is one of the best goalkeepers I've seen at this at a Step 5 level. I think it's too hard to pull a player out, but individually goalkeepers. But we got Declan Jackson now to overtake that mantle, hopefully soon.
Man, like Deck, yeah, what a goalkeeper. And honestly, Jack Smith, fucking hell, yeah, what a player. I remember watching him here, I think it was in the FA Cup game, and he pulled off his save over the fucking bar. I still think about it now.
Top left-hand corner, wasn't it? It was against Hadley, that was. Not Hadley Wood, Hadley in Hunstanton, Norfolk or something. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. And a game against St Margaret's-Bury, and it was us and Margaret's-Bury top of the league, and Gav Kelsey was the gaffer at the time, and we went down to 10 men because Dan Power got sent off. And for about 60 minutes, we were against the cross, and Jack Smith, I've just never seen him like it.
Yeah.
Still one Gav about that up now, I say to him.
Woodsy scored a worldie, didn't he?
That he's off his shin, just got looped over. Yeah, just looped in. I was like, oh, that's gone in.
Oh.
I'd have to say Jack, even though there's too many good players to pull out one.
Nah, fair enough. And Mezza, same question to you.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I've played with quite a few, to be fair. Like, obviously, Adam Watkins was fantastic when he first came in at St Joe's, when he sort of left a few clubs, and you see the talent of why he was a sort of pro. And then when I was a kid, I played with a lad called Curtis Donaldson, and he played for Leverstock Green and people like that. But how he was never a pro, I don't know. Yeah, he was just naturally such a good football player as a kid, and he used to go after Villa, teams like that, and you think, how is this lad not making it? And
not the one at Brentford, it's the same guy.
No, different one. He was from Hemel, yeah, like he's from sort of Hemel way, and he was such a talent. Like, he played a bit of Levy Green, but he never really sort of went into men's football that much. He just sort of played local. But you just think of a player, you think, how did he not make it? And yeah, he's probably the most naturally gifted football player I think I played with from kids to adults, to be honest with you.
I think there's loads out there like that. loads of wasted talent that just
Yeah.
never fancy it. It's mental.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I've been lucky in Luton. There's some great players. Like look at Ryan Frater, Nathan Frater, Jermaine Halls, Cashman's, all them people that come through Luton over the last sort of 20 years that have played top non-league levels. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, we've been blessed. Like I said, that's what we need to tap into now at Crawley, because there is that much talent sort of locally that there's got to be another 25 of them sort of lads that are coming through now that just need the opportunity, you know? So yeah, I've been quite lucky in a playing sense, to be honest. I've played with some good players.
No, it's brilliant. Well, listen, lads, it's been brilliant to have you both on. Great to catch up with you both. Honestly, all the best with Crawley Green. Enjoy your summer. I know it's going to be a long, hard one. Starting to go to work soon, I should imagine.
That's it, mate. I'm enjoying the golf for the next couple of weeks, and then it's head down. Yeah, head down, and off we go.
You boys surely going to be doing some live commentary at matches at some point, I'd imagine, getting your name out there, walking around the grounds when the season gets a bit going again.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, that's the plan.
We want to. We do all want to do all this stuff, but Dan's like Surrey way.
No, come on. I'm
Lovely.
the other side of Reading.
I'm sorry, whatever the fuck that is.
Is that the other word for flower? You just don't want to say it.
Yeah, so,
no, pass that.
you know, I don't drive. I just back ride a fucking bike, so we've got to meet in the middle. It's definitely. We spoke about it. It's something we definitely want to do.
Yeah,
We want to
hopefully it'll be at the non-league finals day. We can all meet up there. That's the plan.
Yeah, meet up there.
Quality.
We'd love to have you down, lads. It'd be great to see you.
Yeah, no, 100%. We'll keep an eye on you. We wish you all the very best.
Nah, thanks for having us, Dan and Welsh.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Dan.
it.
No, pleasure. Take care.
Thanks, lads.
Cheers, lads.
Enjoy. Cheers, boys.
Bye.
Speak later. Bye-bye.
Speak to you later. And yeah, there we have it. Danny Norris, Craig
Yeah.
Merrick. The
Some good things
new,
happening at Crawley Green then.
Yeah.
Look for next year. Two well-established, good footballing people, good managers, and yeah, hopefully they can tap into that network in Luton. That'd be fantastic for the club.
yeah, well, I've said it numerous times. When you've got someone, in their case, two people that love the game as much as they do, they will have every bit of success, and I'm sure they will do a fantastic job at Crawley Green.
Yeah. Well, let's see next season. Obviously, a busy summer for them.
Yeah,
But fingers crossed.
fingers crossed. Right, Dino, do you want to bring yourself in? Obviously, last week I weren't here, and you two have done a prediction. I mean, I know the week before that me and Dan fucked it off and done a playoff prediction. But yeah, how did you two get on last week?
I'll let Dino go first.
Well, I went for the Welling game, 2-1. And basically,
I was out the window. Good
ASC
answer, 10 minutes, wasn't it?
5-0, wasn't it?
ASC Welling, yeah?
Yeah. Because it was the title decider, I said. So
Yeah.
whoever won puts themselves in good contention to win the league.
Yeah.
And I thought that it would be a close game. Obviously, after 20-something minutes, it was
Anything but.
3-0 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
5-0.
silly, wasn't it? I was, although I was away, I did keep trying to have a look at those two games, what we had, and yeah, I see the results come flying in. I thought, wow.
So,
So, yeah. I get a point though, don't I, for the win?
You get a point. Yeah, definitely.
I'm on 2 because Welchie stitched me up the last time and didn't ask how mine went. So I'm on 2 points.
I'll tell you one thing. Considering you've only played 2 weeks and Dan's played 20 and you're level on points, is some fucking achievement. to be
I'll
honest.
behave. I'm all out of 5. I actually got a point myself this week.
Hey!
Finally. Yeah, I
What's
got
it
to win 4-1 against Westfield. They stuffed them 6-0. So
Take
that's
the
a point.
We'll take the point. Right. Well, as we're all here, we'll stick with the playoffs winners, who we feel and why. We've done the National League. We're going to drop down to the National League North and National League South this week. So we'll start with the North. You've got Kidderminster, Brackley, Chester, Chorley, Hereford, Kings Lynn, Curzon Aston, Buxton, all within shouts. It's a very tight one. I don't really know too much about the National League North. Dan, Dan, do you got any insight for us? And who is
I
going
mean,
to
there's
be?
some massive clubs in there, isn't there? Scunthorpe, because obviously they're only a point above.
Yeah,
Scunthorpe, Kidderminster, Chester, Hereford, massive clubs. I'll probably go for if the playoffs is what it is now from 2nd to 7th, I would probably have Brackley Town winning it.
Brackley Town. Well, Scunthorpe or Kidderminster and Brackley can all still win it pretty much, or they're literally 83, 83 and 84. So whoever wins the league, do you think they might be favourites for the playoffs? Or I know we said the other week that it doesn't always work like that.
Depends on momentum. I mean, we'll just have to see. Do you know what I mean? Kidderminster have in their last 6, won 5, drawn 1. Brackley have lost 2, one of them against Kidderminster. So all those teams are kind of in the top 5 or 6 of the form table. So yeah, it could be very interesting. I still think I'm going to stick with Brackley. Why not? I don't know, huge deal, but yeah, from what I've seen.
Just for the listeners, this is just a little game for us. I mean, we're not too familiar with this league, so we are just, well, me personally, I am just going to be guessing. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kidderminster or Scunthorpe. But obviously, I don't know who's going to win the league yet. But whoever wins the league,
Well, I'll pick all of them.
we're going Kidderminster. Do you know Kidderminster? Go on.
I was going to say Kidderminster just because they're probably the only team. I mean, I know Scunthorpe, but probably Kidderminster. They've been in there and around, haven't they, for a while? So
yeah,
I'd say Kidderminster.
Big club. Well, let's go to the National League South. It's a little bit more familiar for all of us as we are in the South. Again, fucking hell, Truro top. We mentioned earlier, joint top with Worthing. And then below them, you've got Eastbourne Borough, Torquay, Dorking Wanderers, Boreham Wood, and Maidstone, who will make up the playoffs places at the minute with Western Superman.
They got a game in hand as well. Their game was abandoned at the weekend. So
could knock Maidstone out. But on the basis of that, I think Truro will probably go on and win it from here, in my personal opinion. So if that was the case, that's some massive clubs there, isn't it?
Yeah, Torquay for me. If Truro do win it, if Truro don't win it, then Truro.
Torquay, yeah. Are you going Torquay? Dino, what do you think?
Well, I don't really pay too much attention other than like around step 4, step 5, step 6. But yeah, never heard of that Chiro, whoever you've said. But if they win it, I don't know. I'm probably going to have to say Torquay because I think I've heard of them the most.
No, that's fair enough. Bournemouth, Dorking Wanderers.
Dorking Wanderers, I mean, I'd like to see them, but
yeah, their form's been terrible though.
They've sort of dropped.
They've only won 2
off, but they've had a mare, haven't they? Really?
Yeah, they've all got 3. Is it 46 they play, right? So I think Dorking, after the dropping the 2 points on Saturday, that pretty much rules them out now. They're not going to be catching the top 2. So yeah, I'm going to go with Bournemouth, to be honest. They're down in 6th at the minute, but I feel they're probably one of the biggest. I think they are the biggest club in that league. And I think they'll turn it on for the playoffs. Nice local club to me as well. So I'll stick with Bournemouth. Fuck Torquay. I've never heard of them. Yeah, Bournemouth. Yeah, definitely, mate. Torquay. I mean, they've been up there, haven't they? But I think Bournemouth. They've just got everything. They've got obviously the facilities now. Burko actually do some training sessions at the club. I've been over there a couple of times.
You're on the payroll. That's why.
Yeah, I'm on the payroll. But yeah, anything else you want to bring to the table tonight, boys?
Nah.
No, just appreciate everyone still listening and getting in touch and interacting. We've got some massive guests on the way in the next few weeks as well, talking about different things. And obviously, throughout the postseason, we'll be trying to do things a little different while there's no football on. So yeah, just keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep supporting us, and you'll see what happens in the summer.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you said there. And obviously, we are a team of 4. Just a little shout out to Morton, who
is in bed.
He's probably in bed. Yeah, he's got his sats in the morning.
It's half term, bless him. He's allowed out.
But honestly, what a fantastic job he's doing.
Unbelievable.
I put a lot of pressure on him, but I just wind him up.
Yeah.
Honestly, everything he does is turning to gold at the minute. He's working really hard for us, and he's really made a difference on TikTok for us. And obviously, Dino gets everything ready for YouTube and Spotify episodes to be released on Friday.
We just come here and chat shit while those two make the magic happen.
Me and Dan fuck off for the weekends and don't even know.
That's all. That's what Welchie's known for, isn't it?
But yeah, listen, boys, appreciate you all. Episode 20, brilliant achievement for us all, and only just getting started.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Right, cheers, lads. See you soon.
Take care.